Hey, what's DeeDee doing now? Y'all know, getting fit at 50 and having fit at 50 conversations with DeeDee. So we're going to have some dynamic guests. You will not want to miss these episodes. So stay tuned to see what DeeDee's doing on Fit at 50 Conversations with DeeDee. Hey, what's DeeDee doing now? Y'all know, getting fit at 50. And we're having Fit at 50 Conversations with DeeDee featuring the wonderful Philithia Charlton. I always mess that
That's
up.
all right. You fixed it though, so we're good.
I did. So this is a phenomenal person that I've known. When we were kind of reminiscing about how we met, and so it was pre-COVID. That had to be over 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A minute.
Yeah, and I was just expressing how much I admired her from afar. I was at a book fair for another friend who wrote a book, and then I walked over to your table, and you had your books there, The Death of a Lie.
Yes.
And I was intrigued, right? And you were so gracious just to stop and talk to every guest, and you started talking to me about your journey, and you gave me your socials, right? And I kind of watched you for a while, and all the wonderful things you were doing, and then you were turning into a play, and I was so excited.
Yes. It was a pivotal point, but I love that play, and I'll be happy when I can bring it back. I really enjoyed it.
I think that's wonderful. So did you do the play prior to the pandemic, or was it after the pandemic?
The last day of the play was the day before everything shut down. So we were able to get our show done, and then the next day, everything shut down.
Oh, and how many shows did you do?
I've only done 2 shows. I did 2 sold-out shows at the Dayton Art Institute, and they can fit over 500 to 600 people.
And that's wonderful. You said you sold out.
I did. I was shocked.
I loved it. And you had one, I mean, you know, when you pick a venue for something so special, that's so important. To me,
yes,
right?
yes.
I know. The venue is so important, right? And folks just don't know. I wanted to have these conversations at a place that I felt comfortable, right? And this was like the most, the most intriguing place for me to have conversations. And I thought, I want to do this. Where can I do it? And I was going to do them online. And I thought, no, let's get in front of folks and have these conversations.
I love that. You know what, I was thinking about you, and I'm like, so many people want to come. They want to see, like, when you're posting, like, oh, I wish I could come. So just something you think about.
Oh, I love, like, having an audience.
Yeah, I think there's a call for that.
Oh, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
So Dr. Townsend asked me the same thing. So when I booked her, she said, well, can I bring somebody? This is going to be live. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to do it.
Well, I'm here for it.
Okay.
You can run it back whenever you want to.
Let's go back. I love it. So without further ado, I want to introduce you. And you are a phenomenal person, just a genuine person, Philithia, and you always been that for me. Any conversation we had, let's go to lunch. Let's have these conversations, right? Just bouncing things off of each other. And you, like my other 2 guests before you, 3 guests before you, have been inspirations for me. And when I reached out, you said yes.
Always.
And that's how I felt.
You said yes to me many times too.
And
So
you know.
I know you don't want to talk about that. But you said yes when there were no yeses.
Yeah.
You created yeses for me
absolutely.
as well.
Oh, thank you.
Unapologetically, and you supported me when everything was new. And you're still here, so anytime I can reciprocate that love that you've given to me, I'm definitely going to be here for it.
I love it. You know that's God.
Period.
So bear with me. I'm going to open up my iPad only because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, because you are a phenomenal person. And I want to actually express that in my conversation. So Philithia is a professional speaker, certified ICF. Tell me what that means.
International Coaching Federation. So it's the gold standard in coaching for life coaching all across the world. And it means that I am certified to work independently or professionally, and it is recognized by Fortune 500 companies, and it's recognized by all different countries. And so I got the Coaching Federation certification because this is a professional job, not a hobby.
Yes,
and I wanted to be able to move either independently or within an organization by something that was just as respected as any degree.
Amen.
So it's the world standard in coaching. There are others, but this is the best. And I think it aligned with me ethically. There's ethics, there's core values, and there's pillars. And all of those things align with what I believe personally. And I love their stance on being intentionally inclusive because it's a world program, not just a country program, and they have not changed that stance as they've been developing as well. So that's what that is.
So I'm going to read the rest of your bio, but have you had the opportunity to coach outside of the U.S.?
I have. I've coached in Portugal in person, which was crazy, amazing, and then I've coached I've done some virtual coaching in India and then Australia. So those are the places, Canada as well. So those were virtual, but yes, I partnered with somebody from Goldman Sachs who had a large contract with Chase Bank, and she brought me in. She was actually on site, but brought me into some of those conversations to do my Death of a Lie segment. And when I tell you, the thing that was so amazing to me was this resonates with people. Because sometimes we can get limited to location and mindset, but doing it in India and having people have the same questions, doing it in Portugal and having people have the same questions, it's like, oh, there's a human aspect that never leaves. Yeah. And so I think that's what has really blown me away, and also calling myself, knowing that it was international before it became international. Like, I had to see it before I saw it.
Okay.
And so
were you speaking it before you saw it?
Absolutely, speaking it. I mean, it's an International Coaching Federation certification, and so expecting that there should be some international opportunity and being grateful for that as well.
That is wonderful. And are we going to get to talk about your Goldman Sachs experience?
Absolutely. Yes, we will.
Okay. Let me get back to you. Let me get back to you.
Get into it. We can do this however you want. There's no wrong way.
Right. I love this. I just like the conversational piece. So let me get back to it. So you're a coach, author, and playwright, which I love, who empowers individuals and organizations to create harmony within and impact beyond.
Yes.
As the founder of Charlton and Associates and the Emotional Wellbeing Coach Academy, you developed the Death of a Lie framework, which I love. I am so, and here's where I think that this resonates with me. You took life and you used that to make a career, a passion, right? So when you say the Death of a Lie framework, that resonates well with me, right? And you help leaders acknowledge, tell, own, and release the lie that blocks emotional and professional growth.
Yes.
In your journey from foster care to national stages, is proof that healing is possible and that truth is transformational. And I love that. Your signature question says it all. What lies have to die so you can live? And I love that. I'm still trying to embrace it, but I'm gonna get
I'm still trying to embrace it. God gave it to me. So that's the thing that I love about all of this is I learned that there is no place of arrival.
Yes.
And that helps release when you have to embrace it all over again. Because I think I was raised to believe that once you got to a certain point, then things mellow out, they get easier. But we weren't having these conversations. We weren't having truth and transparency conversations. We were give it to God, give it to Jesus, pray about it.
Yeah.
And if you pray harder, then it'll be better. And if you don't pray hard enough, then you won't receive.
Yes.
Which they meant well, but that's not the truth.
Yes.
You can pray and still not get what you asked for and still have to continue to believe. And so I think I was asking God through my journey as a child and to now, people would ask me, how did you overcome some of the circumstances and things that I've gone through? We talked about foster care. There's some physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse. There's things that have happened in my life. And I was just like, I don't just want to say God. Now, mind you, God is the reason.
Yes.
The only reason
Right.
in terms of knowing the foundation. But people are like, what does that mean? And I was a what does that mean person.
Yes.
How do I give this message of hope that you gave to me to others without minimizing what they're asking?
That's right.
Because I was like, I'm still seeking, I'm still searching, I believe, but I'm still lost in some of those instances. And that's when God gave me the Death of a Lie. It was like, well, what is it that I'm doing that I can help people try to understand? And that was those pillars that you talked about, acknowledging the truth and first being honest about the fact that there's something going on.
Yeah.
So I gotta really operate in the fact that acknowledging it is first step, then telling the truth.
Yep.
So sometimes you acknowledge it, but then you don't say nothing about it.
Okay, let's get there.
Yeah, tell it. And when I say tell it in safe spaces, tell it to yourself.
Okay.
Tell it to somebody that you can trust. Tell it to a therapist. Tell it to your journal, but you have to get it out.
Yes, you do. Oh my God.
Yes, and then the third part, which was really the hardest part for me, was owning my role. Because bad things happen to good people.
Yes.
But you can't use that as an excuse to not be who God called you to be.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, because we can all sit here and talk about the things that have happened to us and have that, and I'll be right about the way some people mistreated us and the way that people hurt us or how we weren't set up for success. But at what point am I willing to pivot and own the role that I can take while still acknowledging the pain of the past, but not allowing that to limit me? And then the last part is just releasing the lie. Based on that, what lies have I told myself about who I am and my worth that have allowed me not to be who God called me to be? Ooh. And so that's what God gave me, and literally woke up and I was just like, this makes sense to me. And then I thought nobody would understand it. I thought it was like the death of a lie. I didn't like it. And I was kind of mad at God. Because I was like, the word death in corporate, nobody's going to buy that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Isn't that dark? And every time I show somebody my offerings, they pick that. They do. It could be financial. It could be Fortune 500. It could be homeless. It could be nonprofit. Any organization says, I want the death of a lie. I'm like, well, that's how I know it's God.
It is. Because when you know, that's obedience too. If you think about that.
Don't make me sit around in this chair because I'm super obedient.
I know. When you said that, and you said, well, Lord, he was like, I want to give all these other offerings. They gravitate towards me because that's what God is saying, right? Yeah. What lies have to die? Yes. Right. So you can live. What and that's healing, right? And I know we're gonna get into this, and I even hate that. I don't know. We may be scrapping these questions, but we're gonna have conversations here. When you think about the death of a lie, there's healing, right? And we bury things for fear of shame. Is that a part of the coaching so people can release that? And then you also said, in safe spaces, I have been a person who will just share my story. And it's not always safe, right? But I do that, and I think about it now. Is it a defense mechanism so I can tell my story so people can't tell my story? Who should better tell my story than me?
I don't know if that's defense or strategy.
It could be.
It could be strategy and discernment too.
Could be. But I love that. And I love everything about this. I love the person that you are, just the heart that you are, right? That you were able to share that with so many. And as I was watching the play, the young women that you used, the people who represented you, I mean, you had to really pick people who you felt represented what you wanted to bring, and everything was wonderful there.
Thank you. God sent those people. I did auditions. I think I had 6 or 7 auditions, and sometimes no one came.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The auditions?
Okay. Empty. Just as empty. Yeah. And got with Angie Mumford.
Oh yeah,
Davis.
Yeah.
And she was.
I don't know her personally.
Well, she's amazing, and you should.
Okay.
She's somebody that, if she would be an amazing guest, because when I tell you, she is an advocate and she pulls people together and she believes in the good of the community and she is unapologetic about doing what she believes is right according to what God had her do. She's amazing. And she was the person like, people don't know about this? Oh no, we got to fix that.
Yeah, fix that.
And so her daughter ended up being the lead in the play, and then she galvanized some of her audience. I had so many people volunteer. It was like God just sending people like, I told you to do this, I'm gonna do it. And he did. And I was just amazed at having it at the Art Institute was so important to me, because a lot of people in the community don't get there. We get there. We can get there, we can have stuff there. But when we had those children in buses from foster care going through that institute, wrapped around the building, come on.
Wasn't that beautiful?
I got to see it. I heard about it because I was under the stage, and they're like, Philithia, it's crazy outside. I'm like, really? And it gives me chills because I stayed under the stage the whole time because I couldn't get in it. I had to stay focused. I haven't seen the play live.
You haven't seen it?
No, I have not.
But you've watched the recording?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But I'm saying though, like you talked about, just being able to create those experiences for others so that we can continue this movement of hope, of resilience, and of possibility, and also of caring for others.
Yeah. I love that. Hope, resilience, and caring.
Yes.
Right? Because we can get so caught up in ourselves that we forget. Right? We build that, that damaged or why me, right? That we can't give back to others, right? But I think it's so important, and I don't know if you'll talk about this, that release helps so that you can do that. And you said this, other people went through what I went through.
Oh, yeah. And
these are humans, right? It doesn't matter where you are, we're all people.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and sometimes we can get galvanized and miss that, and that's really the reason I'm able to sit here and not sit in the things that have happened, because there's many more things that have happened.
Sure.
But they don't define who I am, their experiences, and I can keep them in their place while still remaining excited about what God is doing.
I love that.
It saved my life.
Yeah, I say that's what it said. That's what it is, right? And you know that we go through things not always just for ourselves,
Say that.
right? And so your journey is here to help, and you said care for others.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful, and I love that piece of what you were saying. I mean, I love all of it, but when you talk about caring for others, that's so important. So, I'm so welcome. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm honored that you're here today and that you want to share the story.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. And I've been watching what Dee's been doing for a while. So just like you've been watching me, I've been inspired and encouraged by you. And your dedication to bring people up.
Yes.
And also encourage people to be who they are and to humanize them as well. You've had some success in your career that you don't talk about much, but you still remain human, you still remain empathetic, and you still remain approachable and connected. And that's why, how often do we talk? Maybe once a year?
Yeah, once a year. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like when we get together, it's like we never missed a beat.
Yeah, because that's just what you provide to others too. So yeah, I enjoy you just as much.
Well, I love to see people operate in their passion or their place of purpose, and I believe that, right? And I see that in you, and I just love to see people grow, right? And I look at this spot, and I've known Terry Purdue we talked about the other day, for about 25 years, right? My daughter was young, so I've known him for that, and so I don't know what that is. To see him grow in every aspect, and just this place is phenomenal. And I blow this up every time I say it. People's like, oh, where are you going to be? At the Huffman Black. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I feel like that is so important, but this place resonates with me as far as, growth for him, growth for the community, and just a safe space for me to have these conversations, right? Yeah. And I don't even know if he's seen the videos yet. I think I may have sent them to him, but Terry, if you're watching, a shout out. But this is a wonderful place, and so what a wonderful space for me to be able to do that. And anything that I can do to help people, I love that. I love to see people's journey and their growth. And we had another encounter. We had an event for Boss Chicks. And I'm trying to think if it was a paint and sip maybe that we had.
Was it at the record club?
No, it was more of an intimate setting that Shawan had done. And I think we were at the salon when we were doing it. And I was sharing with you being in a corporate environment, and specifically me being in a male-dominated environment. Mm-hmm. So the cable industry is very diverse, but I was supporting field operations, which is mainly the technicians and the engineers, those folks. And so those are primarily male-dominated roles. And my role as the director of human resources, I would be maybe the only female in the room, and in most cases the only minority female in the room. And we talked about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I remember this. And we had a very vivid conversation about that. Yeah.
We did. And you said, I can see that.
I remember telling you that.
You did. And I walked in there, and from that moment on, and I was well respected by my peers and my leaders, so I didn't have that. But there were times where I was like, do I belong in this? How did I get here today? Mm-hmm. Right? And we had that conversation, but for God.
I remember that very vividly. Now, I laugh because sometimes God has me say things, and I'm like, I don't know how that came out. If I listen back, like, oof. But I'm so serious. Like, I've done that before with other people, but I know it's not me.
No.
It's like, and because sometimes it's so interesting. I know. Do you know Daria Dillerstone, Mama Daria?
Yes, and you know what? Oh, go ahead.
No. You
tell me about it. So as I was parking the day that you had the launch for your business, I met this wonderful lady, and I said, I don't know. She said, I have too. Walk with me, honey. And we walked into the building, and she just introduced me. And not only that, she sat next to me the entire time, and she grabbed my hand as we were watching your glory there, and just chit-chatted. And there were people in the room that I did not know, and she wanted to make sure that she introduced me to those folks.
See, I know I'm just blessed to know amazing people.
Yes.
But the thing about her, she was interviewed for some reason about me, and they asked her, what is something that people would never know about Philithia? And she was like, she's an introvert. Exactly. Yeah. And she is somebody who's been around me since her daughter and I went to school together. She's known me for a very long time, but she's able she sees me differently because this is a gift. Like this right here, I don't know that I would have chosen it.
Yeah.
Because it's very public facing. Even though whatever the reach is, God has called me to be in front of people, to speak with authority, to show hope and resilience, and to lead that with Him being the head. And sometimes Philithia don't want to do that.
Yeah, obedience. You talk about
we
that.
do.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the biggest gift that she gave me. And she said it a few years ago that I'm an introvert, and I am. I still require softness in tender places, even though God requires me to have a bold voice. I'm learning at this age, approaching 50, that I still get to be both.
Yes.
I get to retreat. I get to not want to be on. I get to be quiet. I get to just relish in just being alive, not being an entity or an authority.
Ooh.
And that's new for me.
Yeah.
But that's when she said that I was an introvert, I was like, she sees me.
She does. And she probably knew that from the beginning. Like you said, you went to school with her daughter.
Yeah.
Like high school? Or
High school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she knew that about you. She watched you.
Yeah.
Right?
She at a copier one time at the Urban League, I was doing a job, I did not like it. And I was you know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. And I was volunteering, and blood pressure was high, overweight, young, just had babies were young. And she said, at the copier, she was like, baby, can I tell you something? I'm like, oh, I gotta make these copies, what's up?
Yeah, I got something to do.
Yes, and she was like, you know that you won't, it won't always be like this, don't you? She's like, there's more in store, guys, and I forgot about you. At the copy machine. And I had to be, I had to be maybe 29, 30.
Yeah.
And she set that seed a long time ago. Soon after that, I got a job offer.
Yeah.
To be chief academic officer of the Dropout Recovery School, which changed the trajectory of my entire life.
Yes.
But the point is, when God sends people like that to you, it's such a blessing. And it's easier sometimes, I think, to give than to receive, but she's always been someone who pours.
Yes.
And I'm not taking anything, I appreciate what I'm able to do, but I've been poured into.
Yes.
And so that, what easily we receive, easily we shall give.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah, so we're on the same page. So that's a lot of I'm fueled by wonderful people who are obedient and accept the assignment as well.
I love that. And she spoke to you.
She did.
Right? So she spoke to you, just, you know, even when you talk about you being an introvert and then her having that conversation, that was God using her to speak to you, right? Mm-hmm. And then I see you doing the same, right?
Yeah.
We talked about, you said healing, but then you said care. Care for others, right? So those who pour into you, you said it, you pour into others, right? Yeah. And so that's what my desire is. In a lot of things that I do, I want to be able to just give back and just to pour. And so I can just have this conversation with you all day. So what does emotional wellness truly look like in this season of life?
Well, I think that's a great question. So I'm going to start with the difference between emotional wellness and well-being.
Okay.
But because it's so important to me. So emotional wellness for me is more the physical outward transformation of things that you need to do. And then emotional well-being is how you are and how you need to be.
Okay.
Like your state of mind.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you emotionally aware? Do you have emotional integrity? Those are not things you can do. That's a value system that you have to be willing to learn and embrace. And so the state of being with emotional well-being is, am I in tune with my emotions? Do I acknowledge my emotions? And do I have the integrity and the fortitude to follow through on what I'm noticing? And that's well-being. And for me, wellness, with some, you can combine it, but this is just me. Wellness is more of that. Now these are the outward things, because sometimes, you know, when we were, all this is new. All this language is so new.
Yes, it is.
And it's new for me too, but when we were looking at wellness, it was, if you feel sad, go take a bath. If you feel sad, go light a candle. If you feel sad, get a massage. Yeah. And you still felt sad. You just sat in the massage. Or you just sat in the water. It's like, and that can make somebody feel like you're doing something wrong. Like I was off
doing all the things.
Yeah, all the things. And so that's not it. That can help. Okay. But your mindset, in addition to those things, so it's a healthy combination of both. But for me, the well-being supersedes the wellness. They both are necessary because, you know, getting fit, having the right mindset. But I think it's important to separate the two.
I'm so glad you said that, because, you know, with this journey, Fit at 50 with DeeDee, it's not just a body thing. What I recognized as I was transitioning, Philithia, was, what did I neglect all that time?
good.
Right, I was on that grind the entire time, and I was giving 100%, right? And I think about all the things that I neglected. The first thing I started with was my body. So I think about my eating habits. And I tell people, like, it was nothing for me to run through McDonald's and grab a hash brown and a frappe every morning.
And be done.
And listen, and I would run on that till 3 o'clock, right? Right. So I knew that there was that. I'm a healthy person, but I knew that wasn't working out for me. So what I did, and then going like that without eating right, your emotional well-being,
Come on.
is not good.
Yes.
Right. And so that wasn't handling stress well. So that impacted my wellness as well. Right. And I was successful in what I was doing, but I wasn't in a good well-being space.
Yeah.
Right. I could do this with my eyes closed. Right. But I recognized that wasn't the person. I didn't see her. That wasn't who I was. And so once I transitioned out, I said, okay, let me do this fit at 50. And it wasn't just about physical. It's about well-being. So I'm glad you're talking about that, because I don't know that I am a person who can actually speak to that. So when
You just did.
Well, I know.
And it sounded
so
right.
I love it. I love it. But I like when I got professional friends who can actually break it down for me a little bit better.
Yeah, well done.
I love it. I'll take it. So I love that. And so, you said as you approach 50, and this community is not just for women who are 50. It's 20, 30, 40, 50. Before you even get to this stage in life, right? How they can learn and get tips to help them prepare for this stage of life, right? Children are adult, are grown, right? And for most part, on their own, doing their own thing, right? And we've done that. We've been the mother. We've been the wife. We've been the professional. What does that look like now?
Yeah.
Now you have time for you, right? But you've poured into everybody. Okay, now what?
Yeah.
Right? What does that look like? How do I impact people? Now what is my purpose? What is my worth?
Yes.
Right? And I wanted to do that before I got to a stage in my life where I had to stop working versus making a choice to stop working. And so when you talk about that, that really resonates well with me. And I just wanted to just expound a little bit more. So when you have those women like me, like yourself, who are juggling so much, yet learning to rediscover themselves, what does that look like, and how do we get there?
I think, we've had some pivotal conversation about many phases in my life, personal conversations.
Sure.
And I think sometimes it is grieving the loss of the life that no longer serves you. And grieving is not bad.
Right.
It's a process of saying, God is taking me to somewhere different, but I'm so used to that.
Yeah, hold on to that.
I'm so used to it. And even if I let go, if it's still consuming my mind, I'm still holding on emotionally.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of the thing about just being okay with the fact that it's okay as you grow to still grieve the loss of the life, even though it could be better.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing, is being okay with the fact that this is so different.
So new.
I don't even know how to be this.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because then you can leave room for wonderment. You can leave room for curiosity. You can leave room for faith. As long as you are willing to say, that made me sad, or that chapter meant so much to me, now it's closed, how do I operate in this? But I think just dealing with the fact that my life is different now, instead of trying to make it be different or carry all of the baggage to it, I think that's that acknowledgement of this season is different, but it can still be good. And different is not devastated, different is not damaged.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just different. And I've been having that conversation a lot. This is different, but then with coaching, one of the things I love about the ICF coaching is the biggest thing is curiosity.
Okay, I love that.
And that's how you can coach somebody without giving them advice, because there's ICF does not do advice. I mean, we can talk about mentors. We're not mentors. We're there to co-create with you and allow you a space to hear yourself. But I can be curious with you about the fact that there's a possibility within you that you haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
And so I think that as you approach this phase of life, I'm curious about what God's going to do. So my curiosity doesn't have to lead to fear. And if it does, that's okay. I can come back.
Yeah.
I can always come back to the truth in the present. But being more curious about what God is doing instead of fearful.
And so I'm transitioning to that right now. And what I recognize about myself is when I transitioned out, I traded corporate busyness and calendars and time for Deidre's busyness, corporate and time. Oh, I'm gonna spend time with my mom, I'm gonna spend time with my granddaughter, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do all the things that I didn't have time to do because I felt like, I kind of poured everything into what I was doing. And so I'm at that stage now. I'm at that, they have those stages of grief.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so I think that I'm going toward the valley. I'm headed back up, but I'm free, but I don't know that yet.
Exactly. But I think it's so good that you're sharing that because that's so normal. Because once again, you can feel guilty for something that's normal.
Okay.
Like, this is interesting. I'm divorced.
Yeah.
And one of the things but I love the Institute of Marriage. I believe in marriage. I'm not that. I don't know what God has for me. I'm excited about it because it's got to be amazing. But one of the things that when people who aren't divorced talk to me, I said, people don't tell you that some of these phases are really normal.
Yes, they are.
And some of that grief of who we are, who we were, who we're becoming, and then we're sharing that with somebody else, that is not detrimental. That does not have to be detrimental to your marriage and to your relationship. It just has to be a new phase that you're willing to be curious about and explore versus trying to drag the old people into this new phase of your marriage. And it makes me think about relationships, period. It could be your mom, it could be your sister, it could be friends, it could be anything, of understanding that if we can just stay curious enough to see what's possible, then we can let go, because we don't have, it's that athlete who always talk about that championship when he was 18 and he's 60.
Yes.
And I said, sir, ma'am, make some new ones.
I was All-State.
We know. And there's been a million more All-States after you. And so not hanging your hat on one great moment, but being willing to be curious and create more.
Yes.
And give them the same value. Like, I watched your journey with your grandchildren.
Yes.
And there's a joy in you that is that is something that you never knew you were going to experience until you experienced it.
Yes.
And that's just as valuable as when you probably won some cable award or something. It's not the same. I'm just saying those are two highs that are valuable in your life that you don't care about award right now.
Right.
You could care less, and at that time you might not have had time to play as much as you wanted to. But both are okay and both are relevant. We don't have to compare them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And so I think a lot of us feel shame, we feel blame, we feel stuck when we're trying to get back a moment that it's already passed instead of being available and present for this moment.
I love it. And so you talk about the most recent challenge was your divorce and how you're
dealing
with it. Yes. Opportunity. I don't know how to
from challenge to opportunity.
From challenge, because you said curiosity, and I love that, right? And so how you go from a challenge to curiosity, right, in that stage of your life, and sharing that. Like, you were mentioning before, in safe spaces. But even this, right, not necessarily safe, but it's vulnerable. Right, and feeling free enough to have that vulnerability.
I think because so much of my business was wrapped with my ex-husband, and then all of a sudden we're not together. Okay. That could make you sad. That could make you feel ashamed, regardless of what the reasons were. That could make you scared because you're like, oh my gosh, we've been building this thing together and now we're no longer there. All of those things happened, but also in a faith journey of, if we've evolved into a point where we're not going in the same direction for whatever reason, I don't want to be anywhere where I'm not supposed to be, and I definitely don't want somebody to be in a space with me that's not helping them grow either. Okay. And that is the grief of the process of, I was married for 20 years. Wow. Yeah. That's a long time. It is. But also we evolve and we both grow, and things change, and some needs are different, emotionally, physically, all the things. And so I think that I told you and the Uber driver, so don't feel special. I don't want it. No, I'm joking. Anybody who would listen to that, sir, I'm going through divorce. He's like, ma'am, have a nice ride. I was like, wait, what are you telling me? He's telling me, sir. I got more to share. Right. Someone must know. They cannot find me on social media. So I have humor as well. You do. But at the end of the day, I trust God and I have faith, and I thank God that if He's carried me through a literal tornado with my house, the roof off.
I remember.
And I was displaced for a year during the play. The place, it was a time that it's been a lot. But if He's carried me through all those things, then there's no way in the world
No.
that I'm not going to be carried
God.
through this.
That's right.
And so that can make you, that can remove bitterness, that can remove anger, and you can begin to get excited about, that was a good chapter in my life, a chapter that produced some beautiful things.
It did.
And now that chapter's closed, and I'm excited about what God is doing, even though I've never been here before. And that helps me focus on my blessings, that helps me remain present, and that helps me release that chapter that's gone.
Yeah.
And so I talk about it because people are curious about it, that follow me and know me.
Yeah.
And some people are going through it, and God didn't call them to have the public voice. He called me to do it.
That's right.
And so I'm obedient, but also I'm joyful about it, the fact that from the time I talked to you to now.
And that was, where were we at? Lily's.
We were at Lily's. Lord mercy.
Yes.
We were at Lily's to now. God has done some amazing things.
I've seen it.
Allowing that chapter to close, keeping things amicable, and showing family in a new way. And I'm grateful for that.
I am. And you know, just the way that I've watched, and you handle things with grace, right? Are you guys still partners in
No,
business?
we're no longer in business together.
Okay.
I own 100%.
Okay. And it's still Charlton and Associates?
Yeah, for now it is. And I don't know that will change.
Okay.
I think that the pivot was just really focused on the death of a lie more, and allowing that to permeate. I know before that we've done some strategic planning things together. We did some DEI before that, and so it was more like, okay, God, this is not going away. How do you want me to do this? And it really became death of a lie in executive and professional coaching more, and speaking engagements. And those were already happening, but now the business is there.
It's all a part of the process.
Yes.
You know, when you think about that, I forgot about the tornado, right? But you know, God has really blessed you.
Yes.
And you think about that, and think about it, and we laugh, we chuckle, but you know, if you think about all the things He's brought you through, right? And some people are like, oh, woe is me, or they would have broke. Your resilience is amazing, and I know that's all God.
It is. I was walking around my house a couple of days ago because I'm in a pivotal transformation in my career right now, like many people. And I was just thinking about, from the moment I saw the house, I saw it when people had magazines. I saw it on the back of my realtor magazine at Kroger, and I was like, that's my house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, who, that's your house? I'm like, yeah, I want that house. I needed it because in my mind, did a lot for family. And then when God gave me the house, I'm like, wow. And then, you know, we were a very young couple, so we were in our 22, 24.
Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful home.
Yeah. And for him to, I was like, but it wasn't older, but you know, you want renovations. I want it to look like this. And so when the tornado came, I just been praying before that about just needing to do some upgrades, knowing what I had financially, and God renovated that whole house for free. It was 2 houses that were severely damaged. Mine was one. Yeah. It was one of those. The neighbor didn't have anything. My whole roof gone.
Yeah. And they were just
yes, and they were all
you could actually see the sky. I remember the pictures you had. Yeah.
And I was like, but look at God. He's showing me through that He can literally take the roof off of something that looks traumatic, but is truly a reawakening and a new blessing. And that has been the theme of my life.
That's right.
And I'm learning but I'm also, you know, things change and pivot too, so how God blesses you in one season might be different in the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he just shows up that He's God.
Yes.
Right? We talk about in His weakness, and our weakness, He's strong.
Yes.
Right? He has to show us sometimes His greatness.
Yeah. I believe Him.
Yeah. Listen. Yes, that's me. I've been there, and I'm so grateful for God's grace.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Because it could have been different. Right? I've seen a lot of people go through the tornadoes, and a lot of people have been resilient, but you are in that beautiful home. Right?
Thank you. Yes, it's a blessing. It's a reminder that He keeps His promises. It's the rainbow, right?
That's it. That's that rainbow.
That's that rainbow.
Preach.
Yes. Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so let's talk about the power of emotional rest. Right? And I'm gonna talk to you. So you talk a lot about emotional rest, and I love that term. We always hear about rest for our bodies, but rarely do we think about rest for our hearts and our minds. So let's talk a little bit about that. Why is emotional rest just as important as physical rest? And what does it look like in practical everyday life for women like us?
That's a great question. And I'll just say that I think I was approaching 40 and I had the principal job, and my child was the same age. as the students I was serving. I did not think about that.
Okay.
Games. He got games, they got games.
Uh-uh.
So what exactly? I didn't think about that. I just thought about the money.
Yeah.
And also I love the work, but I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to serve this job and be everywhere? And pretty much principals, shout out to all of you,
Yeah.
is a 24-hour job.
Yes.
And so that is when I started to understand that I have a problem. I signed up for this, I committed to this, and I don't think I have the capacity.
It was a conflict.
It was and I was so disappointed. I was mad at God too, because I felt like I had literally walked around that building 7 times and prayed about it. Why am I in this conflict? And that conflict was for me because you define yourself by your accolades and by your education. I had won an award. You know, I was asked to come into the school, and so I think that there was a point where I'm like, as long as I get educated, I can do it, and it didn't work. There was not one degree that was going to help me manage that schedule. That was impossible, and I began to question my ability to lead and to be a mom and to be a wife and to be a pillar of the community and to be a principal.
And all the things.
Yeah, right. And my sister was in a nursing home. We had custody of her 7 kids at the time, her 5 kids, my 2 at the time of this involvement, and then my mom had passed away. So all these things are happening, and my education does not work. I can't figure it out. And so,
how much education?
And I lost weight too. I had lost weight, and I was still stroke level. I lost weight. I was in a healthy shape. I was walking 17,000 steps. I was staying at the school part of the fitness club, and I almost still had a stroke.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the point is, that was the first time in my life where I realized, baby, you can't out-educate this. You can't strategize this. You have to stop, or else you will be stopped. And that is what my doctor told me. She said, "What is driving you?" And I was offended. I said, "What do you mean driving me? I want to be successful." I was doing the whole talking fast. I want to be successful. I want to make sure. She was like, "Baby, that's different."
Yeah.
And I really was. I went home like, what does she mean? She's like, "No, there's a part of you that's trying to control everything. And it's all gonna fall.
That's right.
Because your blood pressure, you need to be hospitalized
That's
if
right.
you don't calm down." And she told me, "If you don't take off, I will write you off, and you don't want that." So that is when I started to understand that there's a difference between wellness and emotional rest, and the idea that I have to say no. I've got to teach people how to treat me, because if somebody's pushing me, I've allowed them to believe that's who I am.
Yes.
Then I'm mad at them for asking, but when do I say no?
Yeah. Because you've established that.
Yeah. Kids, husband, family, whatever. You've established that this is, I'm a dog, I'm a G, I run, I roll, I push, I got it.
Right. Yeah.
Until you hit a wall.
And you can't.
And you can't.
It's not.
And so that was the beginning of that. And then yesterday, full circle, I went to therapy, love therapy. I went to therapy, and she said, "God is putting you in timeout."
Yeah. Oh, now.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm in the corner right now.
Yeah.
Because things have slowed down for me in a way that I would not do. But they have not slowed down in areas that God wants me to do. Like being here, my speaking card is full, but there's a pivot in contracts right now for me. And so that's totally different. And she said, "Well, this is a time again that you're going to have to trust God. It's not going to be because you got the certification or the credential or you're willing to work so hard. You're going to have the faith to believe that you are covered no matter what you do." And today I heard a word as I was at Central State, and the woman did not know that she was confirming it, but she said about something totally different. She was like, "There's times you have to stand down."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that really resonated with me. So being in timeout and standing down and still being covered by God, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take a soft life.
Take it.
Yeah, because I don't want to. I was blessed to be able to speak to some executives, and they were business owners. And they made from $5 million to $500 million. They consider small business.
It's small business.
Well, I got some work to do, but
right. You got small business.
one person was mad at me. He challenged me, and he was like, "So if this is what it took to get me here, you're trying to tell me that I just need to rest?" Like he felt attacked, probably because he was exhausted.
Exhausted.
Yes.
I can't afford to
Yes.
rest.
You're telling me to rest. I just asked him, I said, "You know what? I'm not telling you rest. I'm asking you, how much is it costing you to live your life this way now?
Right.
And do you still want to be in business the same way now that you were 20 years ago?"
You still have that same feeling.
I don't. No, but not the work that it takes. Like when we were in our 20s and our 30s, go. The body does something different now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's going. If it's not coming out, guess where it's going?
Yeah,
Lungs, heart,
Yeah.
liver, stroke,
Mhm.
heart attack,
Yeah.
kidneys, breast, stress. I don't want that.
Nope. And don't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good. And the people that you love want you here healthy. And we want to do that for them, but more importantly, we want to do that for ourselves. So I think that emotional rest, knowing that it is not going to take hour for hour, dollar for dollar to be able to be where God wants you to be. And having the faith to trust, I know faith without works is dead, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I want the work to look differently at this age.
Oh, yeah.
And so God was like, well, Sushi, I'm going to help you. I said, well, thank you so much.
Yeah. I embrace it, right? Because rest has been there. Yeah. That was really the reason why I decided to transition at this time. So we're talking about that. But I needed the emotional rest. Yeah. Because I wanted it. I wanted to just keep running but I didn't have that same passion that I had before. So being in human resources, I wanted to help everybody. And as you get into leadership, especially in directorship, you're not necessarily impacting people at a field level. It's more at a different level, right? You're impacting their pay, their development, and things like that. And I'm in meetings, I'm still trying to do those kind of things. I just didn't have that same feeling of what I was doing to help. Yeah. Right? It was helpful. Right? So this period of rest, that's why I think it's important that we rest. And I'll tell you, I tried to pick up some things and God just...
Oh yeah, that'll get canceled. Already it's not there. I'm not doing that anymore.
I don't think so. I do not think that that's going to be it.
I've been working in New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts over the last 4 years. And similar to other people, my contracts got canceled under this administration in February.
Oh, February?
It affected immediately. Okay. Like I was planning to go to New York and then I wasn't going anymore. Right. And so I've been watching this play out in terms of what does faith look like in seasons like this. Sure. Yeah, not just for me, for everybody. Yeah. And thinking about the pivot and the resilience and the fortitude and faith that are needed. But sometimes you have to rest. Because how you going to figure out something that's not figured out yet?
That's right. You can't control that anymore.
Nothing. You can't control it, so you have to rest in order to be able to hear. Yes. And to be able to think clearly. Hear. And to be able to do things not out of impulse, but out of correlation and alignment. So that rest, especially for a lot of us, who are, some people are near retirement, some people are not retiring, some people are furloughed, laid off, just collectively for different reasons. And the last thing you think you need is rest. But if you can rest, then for me, you can hear from God and you can have some peace so you can feel more comfortable about what those next steps are.
You know that there's a commandment that says rest. Right, he made the heaven and earth 6 days, on the seventh day rest. That is a commandment. So we have to rest, and so if we don't do it, he's going to do it.
I don't want to be sat down.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to lay down.
but he's giving you the opportunity to rest.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so he's saying, and that's again a part of that whole obedience, better than sacrifice. But I've done this. I told you. Yeah, stand down. What did I say? Stand down. Stand down. Oh, that is so that's wonderful. And rest has been where I'm at. So I'm glad that you were able to talk to people about that, because so many of us out there are still in like grind. Yes. Like especially in our age group. We don't move like we used to, like we have to hurry up and get that done. We still in that grind because now we're moving into a different phase in life, right? And so it's important that we are set up for that stage of life. Yes. And so we have more years behind us than we do ahead of us. And so now we're just trying to build so that we're comfortable at that stage. But we don't have that same tenacity, that same endurance, or even that same desire.
And I love the fact that you said desire, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, once again, it comes back to, okay, that's no longer who I am. It was good when it was good.
It was.
Now, what do I need now in this season? Yeah. And that's where the opportunities come from.
I love that. And we find ourselves in the rest.
Yes.
Right? And you said it, we allow God to lead us in this rest. And that's where faith comes in. He tests us in that.
Yes.
But as you reflect on the things that have happened just in your life, and you go through those things, and all you can say is yay and amen.
Yeah.
Because you know that he has something greater. Oh,
for sure.
Yes. I love it. So we're going to talk a little bit about tools for healing and then boundaries, because we talked earlier about you being everything for everybody and that expectation you set up. You ever feel like, and this is not one of the questions, that what about me? I'm doing everything for everybody else, but what about when do they recognize, okay, I can't do that, right? Think about that. So.
Yeah, I think it's very normal to get to that what about me stage. Yeah. And I don't think it's a dangerous place to get to. It's a dangerous place to stay at. And so if you're at the what about me stage, The question is, what about you?
Yeah, what about you?
What do you want out of this season? Because I don't want to have a conversation for too long about what got us here. Where are we going to go?
Yeah.
And in pure, not using the King's English, what is we going to do?
Yeah, what is we going to do? What now?
What are we going to do? Because we can only stay there for so long.
We can.
So what about me is a very good question. What about me am I willing to learn? What about me am I willing to share? What about me am I willing to let go of? What about me am I willing to embrace? And so I think the what about me can be a safe space as long as it doesn't, and I call it a trauma competition. As long as we don't get into, well, I was adopted, well, my granddaddy was adopted, okay, all right, you win, you're more traumatized than me. Like so, or the bonding of all we talk about is trauma.
Bonding, yes.
Yeah, and we get together collectively to sit in that. So if we get to the what about me and we come out of that and say, what about me, what is the best part about me I want to be in this season? I think that that's important. And that goes back to that acknowledging your feelings and then getting help with that.
Amen.
Because we have friends and they're amazing, but some friends are not equipped.
Well, they don't commiserate with us.
Yes.
Right, that doesn't help. Right?
Yeah, I get challenged all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm pretty impressed when somebody challenges me because I want to learn all the time.
All the time,
And I'm always impressed when I'm wrong. Because I can be so wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And it could be limited just based on my experience.
Yeah.
So I get excited when I'm like, when I say I didn't think of it that way, I'm like, thank you for pouring into me.
Not defensive.
Yeah, no.
Challenge.
Like, dang, that was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I like that idea of leaving more room to grow and letting go of the things I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, because being an educator, being a facilitator, teacher, trainer, there's some things I do know, but there's plenty I don't. And so I like when I can learn from somebody else. And so I think an openness at this age to still know that you can learn. I learned from my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, we have some very interesting conversations. I learned from my son. They're 22 and 25. He challenges me.
Yes, right.
He's like, I was like, and sometimes I'm like, gosh, that was right.
It was. It was. And they have a different view. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it is beautiful. But also being open enough, because I don't know if anything like me, my parents or who I was raised with, you know, you couldn't challenge them.
I have this thing.
What?
Children are to be seen and not heard.
Yes.
You stay in a child's place, and that resonates as an adult as, okay, well, am I adult now? Can I speak now?
Yeah, even you do have older people that are bullies too. We're in our 50s, but some older people are still bullying because they refuse this new age. I'm like, no, it's emotional awareness, and you're abusive verbally.
They won't accept that.
They won't,
and no accountability.
No,
they don't know how. Right.
But I've learned too, though, that limiting access too, because old age does not beget wisdom.
Oh.
So that's the other thing too. Just because you're older than me, you deserve respect.
Respect.
But I will not allow myself to be punished or abused verbally by you.
Yeah.
And so it is my responsibility not to change you, but to your point of coming on boundaries, to remove myself from the situation with respect.
Yes.
And then call my friend and talk about you.
Yeah. And girl, I have one. So I love that you're saying that because I think that we learn, and I love that when you said that. I learn from my children, right? I learn from them every day. Oh.
Yeah, they get me.
They do. And they have a different view in life, just like we had a different view of life for the older folks. Yeah. And again, they've been living, I'll talk about, the elderly and what they see. My mother learns from me every day. Now, it's not easy, though. Those conversations are very challenging at times. And so I've learned to do it in a way that is not offensive because, it's easy to become very defensive or offensive of things that happen and trying to explain when they don't hear. So my communication is just different now. And I'm learning that from my children. Just like, when they can introduce something to me, right? I had a funny conversation with my son who is an attorney, but he thinks he knows everything, right?
Not to zoom in.
I love you, Dad. We had a good conversation. I said, boy, right? But I had to listen.
Yeah.
Right? And I said boy kind of in jest. But it was a conversation, right? And, and I think about that, but we can learn. But he still listens, right? Yeah. And then I can learn from him. And I learn from him all the time. So I love when you say, and I'll make sure I say this right, Dayoni. Say it again. Dayoni. And I have Dayoni.
Yes.
So we talked about that. Remember that?
Yes.
So I love that when you hear that from your son and you learn from them. They just have a different view about things and they're more open.
And also us creating that safe space for them.
Yeah, I hate
to not
that.
chop them
Yeah.
every time, because then I had somebody like, you have a great relationship with your kids. I had to learn how to stand down.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Because I wasn't raised that way. And it didn't necessarily work being a brick wall all the time, and because I said so definitely doesn't work with this generation.
No.
That's old.
Well, you know what? I never, and I had said that from the very beginning. I'll never say because I said so, because I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I would never use that. And I remember having a conversation with my kids, and my mom said, "You let your kids talk like that?" And they weren't being disrespectful. They were just being honest.
Yeah.
Right? And she just couldn't wrap her head around
Because
it.
that was disrespect
It
in
was.
their mind. And talking back, having an opinion.
Yeah.
And
that's all
that
it was.
yeah, you just didn't. Like, I don't like black walls. Well, you don't. I can't run my house. Oh, whoa.
It's just you don't like black walls.
Yeah, but they would take that and I don't put cucumbers in my water. You don't have to. But that doesn't mean I got to stop.
And that's it.
And they feel like they're being challenged and also being humble enough to still be willing to learn something new. And be, at this age, be exposed to something new. My daughter, she travels internationally. I do too. She called me from Belgium.
Ooh.
And she was like, I'm in Belgium eating Belgian waffles, Mom.
Wasn't that great?
It was amazing.
That's a great thing.
It was amazing because there was some fear based in how we were raised. But I mean, that comes from generational trauma. Some of that comes from slavery. Some of that comes from lack of exposure. And I love the fact that she is open. Both of them are open to exploring the world because raised them not to be fearful.
Yeah. But you had that, she's in there. Was she by herself?
No, she was with a couple of different, she was in Cabo last week.
Yeah.
So
I want that travel schedule, y'all. That's what I'm going
But she lives differently. She has not started a family.
Yes.
She works independently. Yes. She has a great career in tech.
Yeah. And you were telling me, I love that.
It was a large company.
Yeah.
And so she and my son didn't do what my ex-husband and I did.
Yeah.
And so they have a different life, which I didn't have, so I can learn from that.
That's
I can celebrate them.
That's right.
And so that's the part that's the wonderment of it all. Like, look at y'all go.
That's what fear looks like, right? Not having that fear. You said that. I think that because we could have that. I remember when my son was going to California, and he said, "Mom, will you think about it?" And I said, "Well, let me think about it." And his dad said, "Go." Right? My husband's a military brat, so he's been everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so my first thought was, you don't know anybody out there. Just gonna go live out there. And that was Friday, and he was gone by Sunday. Right? He just pulled the Band-Aid off, and I just my first response was, but I can't keep them. I didn't raise them to be kept.
Yep.
Right? I told them, you gotta go. And now you're just gonna tell me you're gonna go. And he had graduated from college and everything. And, he was just trying to transition out, trying to figure things out. And he said, I'm just gonna go. And I go. And that was in 2017 or something like that. And he hasn't looked back.
Wow.
Right? And God has kept him. So when you talk about your daughter being in Belgium or her being in Cabo and letting that go, do you still have that in your feeling just for a second?
Yeah. Because she's the one, like, I'm moving to Mexico. What are you talking about? Like, ma'am.
Yeah.
And
they really mean that.
Yes, considering it strongly.
Yeah.
But anyway, even with my son, thinking about some of the things that he wants to do and how he shows up differently as well, just allowing them to have the grace to be themselves. They're young adults. They are my children, but they're God's first.
That's right.
And then they have an obligation to themselves.
That's right.
And then
it's their life.
Yes, it's not my life to puppet master them. Yeah. Even though I think it's better, but who am I?
Yeah. And where were you at that age? What were you doing at that age?
Doing that.
Right.
So the whole family.
So I said the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And they have the freedom to do those things. Isn't that great?
It's amazing, and they've handled the responsibility well. So why don't they get to keep exploring?
Why don't they?
Yeah, they've done the things, and college is not for everybody. I've seen business owners do amazing work.
That's right.
But also too, if your adult child, right, is doing those things and they're showing up for themselves, who are we to try to craft it? We can give advice.
That's right.
We can give wisdom, but it still has to align with them. They get to make a choice.
Yes, God has a plan for them.
Yes.
I love that, and it's their lives.
Yes.
Right. And we want to shelter them from all the pitfalls or all the other things. We had to go through those things in order to build the resilience and the character that we have today. So who are we to stop God's plan?
Yes. And I think too, to your point, I've learned and I'm learning at this age to not want to shelter them, but for them to feel safe enough to tell me anything.
Anything. Isn't that
anything?
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather you tell me whatever this thing is that you release the shame.
Yeah.
Let it out, because you don't know how I can contribute to it. But most of all, I could just love you and be your mom.
Just love you.
I could just love you. I might not have an answer. There's consequences to different actions. They might be warranted, unwarranted, but I can love you though in this moment, and then you can release whatever that thing is.
Right.
And that's teaching them emotional rest at an early age.
Say that emotional rest.
Yeah.
Right, because we had to, and you're in the generation with me where we kept that inside.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I hear the story all the time. Stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. We were not even allowed to express emotion.
Fix your face.
Fix your face.
And now people get it. If anybody ever sees me, I get in so much trouble for these expressions. Because I get to share them all. And I'm trying.
Oh, good. I love it.
So I'm in there like,
that don't sound right to me.
They're like, what's wrong with your face? I'm like, listen, I'm watching my mouth. I get to do this. I get to. So don't be sensitive.
So you know when they talk about this emotional wellness, and I've tried to control that for so long.
Yeah, you sit there like, drop your chin, hold your face, pinching your hand like this.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Do I look unemotional?
Yeah.
When I'm about to crack up or cry?
I just turn my head, take my glasses off.
And try to fix your face.
I'm trying to do it so. Oh goodness.
I try, but I clearly from anybody, it's clearly not working because people. But sometimes, though, the other part about that too is sometimes people bring their trauma to you.
Yeah.
And so if they are in a space where they're looking to be offended,
okay,
you might find that.
Regardless.
Because sometimes I went to homecoming. Shout out Alabama State.
I know you look like you had a good time.
What time was that? But 30 years later, you know, leaving there, going as an 18-year-old, leaving campus pregnant, and then coming back with how God has blessed me was amazing. But I was walking into one of the tailgate tents, and you had that bracelet, and they were serving fish. Yeah. And I can't see as close sometimes. Yeah. You know, I got the contacts on, so I'm walking in there like this, and this guy is like, "Dang, Philithia, what's wrong with you?" I can't see. So I'm trying to find the fish. There's nothing happened. There's nothing. You have made this be a thing when I literally can't see.
I just can't see.
That's it. And so I don't receive that.
Good.
I don't receive, for some of us, though, that face that they call the resting bee face.
Yeah.
I literally can't see, so don't bring that over here.
Yeah.
And then my affect will change if given an opportunity, but sometimes we do put pressure on women to look a certain way and to hold our emotions when we're literally trying to navigate our own. So instead of that quick judgment, ask me, do you need anything? Yeah. Are you okay? Are you good? Versus assuming that something's wrong because it literally was, I was just trying to see. Can't see?
I couldn't.
These contacts ain't set up the same.
They just not. That's why I have to have glasses everywhere. I've tried contacts. I have to have glasses everywhere.
And the glasses, I work at the sweat. Do you wear when you work out?
So no, I don't. I wear out. Like I have them in my bag or whatever, but I can't
see.
I can't. I try to put makeup on in the mirror, and you can't put makeup on with glasses, so y'all get what y'all get. That's right. That's fine. But I'm glad you spoke to that because, we always try to fight through that. And we're big on this whole emotional intelligence. I like the emotional well-being. Mm-hmm. I think that's important to us too because that emotional intelligence gets us in trouble because, again, that goes back to suppressing those feelings that when we were younger we had to do that. And now as we're adults, we're having to do it again. They're just calling it something different, right? And you have to respond. Now, I had this young lady that I worked with and she would react versus responding to things, right? It was just quick, right? Very smart, but she's always on the defense. And only because, we were, again, in a male-dominated, and we talked about what that looked like. And so I got these bracelets for her, these rubber bracelets, and they said respond and react, right? And anytime she would think about it, she had to just think. And it wasn't something that she'd look at. It was just something that was a reminder to her. She used to tease and say, DeeDee told me I had a tattoo on my wrist. I did not. But as we learn about emotional well-being, I think that's important, but I think this stage in our lives allows for that, where I don't know it's always been acceptable because we have this emotional intelligence. I'm not saying you're just going off on folks.
No, but I love what you're talking about because we are in a highly visual society where you have 16-year-olds trying to have this conversation the same way I am. Yeah. And I do think that there has to be, and I've really been working on how to define this further for me or people that listen to me about emotional integrity, emotional follow through, emotional awareness. Like there's just not one word for it. And I think it's deeper then I don't think I know,
you know
that it's deeper than that. And so I've really been allowing God to download, like, what is the vocabulary for this that goes beyond just the knowledge, or using a 360 assessment through a diagnostic computer to say that I'm this thing, and I'm not. And some people get and you know this from the work that you do, but they get mislabeled because it's a tool. So how can we separate, once again, wellness, well-being, and intelligence? And intelligence based on what? And so I think that those are some of the areas that I see myself being able to grow in this space, so that we can start to understand this philosophy beyond the word and the words that we're using and the meaning behind them.
That's right. Because they just become words.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's like, I'm not. When I do my work, some people don't know what I do. They're like, "What do you do again?" I'm like, I said it 1,000 times, but it's fine. It's fine. I even got a certification, but it's fine. I'm a life coach, and they assume when they hear life coach that I'm going to come in and say, you know what, how you feel is more important than what's right. I hear you. I'm here for you. I'm like, that is wrong. What I do is empathy plus accountability.
That's right.
Equals outcome. Don't do that. Like, what do I look like co-signing some foolery? That's not my job.
Then they stuck.
Yeah, because I have to protect my peace. No, you're avoiding.
That's right.
You're not protecting no peace. You're avoiding. You're ghosting. You're being a coward. We don't like to use. I'm saying, but those things are real.
And are you real like that in your coaching sessions?
Yes, if God allows it, not to be offensive at all. Yeah. But I am allowed to ask you, what feeling is that bringing up for you?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? When have you felt that way before? Yeah. Those are some of the questions I would ask to see where they go with it. Okay. But if I have a client, like a professional client that brings me on to coach a person through a situation, I can have a bit more of a different conversation because we're looking for outcomes. Yeah. If I'm coaching somebody individually, then that curiosity's there. But if we have a plan, and that plan is based on an outcome for them, we can have a deeper conversation. Like I said, not to name call, but the idea that people are weaponizing emotional well-being because of access is annoying to me.
Yeah.
It's my peace and my feelings. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I think we're too much. I think so. But you say empathy and accountability.
Yes.
I think that those things are very important.
They are. They're both. It's both and, because I know a lot of my work picked up after COVID because we were having those sensitive conversations. I don't want to come back to work. Nobody does. Yeah. But how do we reestablish a culture of safety and trust and boundaries? Or Deidre, she's been working here for 20 years. She's the boss. Mm-hmm. She gets to decide how she comes in. I am not the boss. Yeah. I'm not going to have an hour conversation with you because she gets to do that. Yeah. And so that is not emotional well-being. That's understanding rules and workplace culture and understanding customer relations and climate and culture. And I think that sometimes, we mesh those things together. I've had conversations with people where they're like, I'm just not feeling my boss. That's cool, but how's that working out for you? Yeah.
You still have to get things done.
Or not.
Yeah.
But there's a choice. So that's, as a coach, I'm like, it is absolutely your choice. It is a choice. But how is that going to work out for you? What results do you want to achieve from that? And if that means you walk away, that's neither here nor there for me. But just understand that there are times where you're weaponizing or misusing these emotional terms will lead to results that don't necessarily serve you. And so that's the issue of going from, literally, I feel like in this field, we've gone from 0 to 10,000.
We have.
And it's like, my peace,
yeah. And I think the pandemic allowed for that.
We needed it. Yeah. We needed it for that moment, but I'm glad that we are now becoming more educated about the importance of the fact that there's still parameters to keeping it real. That's right. And there's still consequences to our actions, which consequences are not always negative, but they could be based on how we see things and how we show up. Sure. And how you feel will have a direct impact on how you show up, which could impact how you're able to eat.
That's right. How you survive.
Yeah. And sometimes, the idea that I have to change my attitude in order to be okay in this season doesn't mean you're giving up on your dreams. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be here. It is what does survival and what does responsibility look like? Because there are seasons in our lives where we've done things, taken careers, and had jobs and things of those natures that did not correlate to how we feel.
Right. We had to survive.
We had to survive, and there's some of that that's just essential and necessary in this emotional conversation.
I just blew all my questions out of the water. So I think I got, let me see. I got some really good ones. So
Okay.
I got two more. I'm keeping. You got time?
Of course, I got time for you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So this is about reclaiming joy and authenticity. And what you have been, for me, is authentic at all times. Like, if I say anything to you, you're like, okay, well, wait a minute. So when you say challenge people, you challenge. I love that. I need that. We need that. And I don't know that I've been able to accept that from everybody. But the way that you approach it is very different, right? Mm-hmm. But you've also taught me that people's motives are different, right? When I'm talking to people, I can't always assume what their motives are.
That's good.
So I always ask for clarification, and I think that that's important. But I want to talk about reclaiming joy and authenticity. So many women in our community in this season of life, and again, this is season for me.
Yes.
Are we're rediscovering who we are, right? I've been a mother. I've been a wife. I am a wife. I'd say that. And now I'm a grandparent. But who is DeeDee? What does this look like, right? I'm trying to juggle all these balls to try to figure out who is this person, right? And I like who she is, but do I really truly know? So I want to talk about that. So learning who we are now, not just who we've been to others, but who we are now. So how can women reclaim their joy and authenticity, especially when they've spent many years pouring into everyone else?
That's a great question. And the thing that comes to mind is, how can people reclaim their joy? Be honest about what you don't like.
Oh, okay.
There's so many things that we've done. Oh, I'll be glad to. You are not glad.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
Just
it.
don't want
You
to.
do not have it. Oh, that'll be fun.
No.
You don't think it's fun. And I think that's the part of, because we spend so much time trying to be available.
Sure.
And these things might be simple things, but they don't bring you joy. And sometimes there's a fear of being looked at a certain way if I don't want to do what you want to do. And so I'm really surrounded with some really good friends. And now when we hang out, we give each other permission not to do anything. I don't want to, if we're all going on vacation, some people have the itinerary. Some people don't want to go anywhere. Some people have the nomadic, I'm out doing whatever, the dangerous stuff, like I'm going off the resort. You all those, like, now I used to. Yeah, but I got smarter. But that's another episode. But yeah, but I'm thinking the idea that if you think about friends on vacation and you think about all those different personalities, how come each person can't do that?
Why can't they?
And what type of control are you trying to exercise in this in order to stop someone from having joy? Have you ever seen Wine Country?
I think
on
I
Netflix.
did.
It's really old.
I think I did see that one.
Yeah, it was about, they had this agenda and she had outfits for them and everything was structured and scheduled, and some of them just didn't want to do it. And so they began to argue, even though they were all on the bus, they didn't know how not to be on the bus.
Yeah.
And then some people were taking phone calls because they weren't able to say that, because I know I put pressure on people too when it comes to business. Like, you're on vacation, put your phone down. But if they're not willing to do that, that's on them. Like, I think just being honest about where you are. Because who knows when their revelation will come. It might come after the vacation and say, dang, I didn't enjoy myself. But me trying to make you enjoy yourself when you're not ready to be there, now I'm causing conflict. So I think being honest about the things that don't bring us happiness, and then letting people be. Leave people alone.
Just let them be.
Yeah, with mothering people, trying to mother your friends. Leave, she don't want to go. Me. I went to New York one time and they were like, you don't want to. They came back, they had all the statue stuff, and I stayed in my room. And I went to a Mediterranean restaurant, met the owner, had a whole glass. But I didn't want to do all, I was tired. And then what, and so if you feel rejected because of my decision, that's a you thing.
It is. That's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it has. So reclaiming that joy is being honest with yourself about what you don't want to do, and then not taking on somebody else's pain as a result of their misunderstanding. And then waiting for the revelation, because that doing or not doing something, if you allow yourself, something's going to come of that. So I think that's really important.
I wish we'd had this conversation years ago. I'm just going to really be honest with you.
I just learned it yesterday, so I don't know if I can help you.
When you said, but listen, this is the season of my life, so I might have to do some do-overs in some situations that I mishandled. I'm just going to be honest with you.
And me too, but I think the other part about joy too is allowing ourselves to be so many things. I think that we get caught in these careers, and even though we were in different careers, our careers could be rigid at times. And the older you get, sometimes the more you can give yourself flexibility sometimes. But I think that being okay with being all the things, because right now, earlier today, I was in front of an audience of freshman students.
Yeah.
Then I was on a call talking about I'm gonna meet with Congress and do advocacy work for small businesses, which was crazy. I was laughing the whole time, like, did they know it's me? And then I'm here doing this. And then when I get home, I'm gonna put on my jogging pants and watch Reasonable Doubt, which is really great. But I can be all of those things. And I'm gonna send my friends some silly reels and some silly memes.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to church on Sunday, or I'm going to church in my car because I go to church in my mind all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay to be all of those things. It's not being fake or phony to be multifaceted. So I think that learning how to be you all the time, when it's appropriate, is very important.
Yes.
So I think that you lose joy when you're trying to make somebody else be like you, and then you're not being yourself because of someone else.
Yeah. So I love that. And so I felt that I was code switching at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So the DeeDee that left the house and came back was different than the DeeDee who was gone all day.
Yeah.
Right?
I get that.
And so reclaiming that. So there were instances where I was reclaiming and I really became true. I became more authentic as time went on.
Yes.
Right? Because I enjoyed who she was. Right? And I was reclaiming some of that. So thank you for saying that. That's important.
Well, I want to say something else on that really quickly too. Michelle Obama, when she first came on with her first book, she did a book tour. And when she was finally out the White House, she was very honest about the rigidness of how she had to dress and how she was pretty much controlled in that way. And she was just really, she was criticized heavily, but she gave me a few things. She showed me that you could wear sleeveless at work and still be professional. So I was like, I don't have to pass out.
Yes, the freedom.
Because I was like, right now, I'm hot. I get it. I wasn't her age, but I'm like, I'm hot. I know I'm trying to be sexy. It is burning up in here. And either you want me sweaty or not. Like, what do you want? These are not about my arms. I'm hot. So when did I become less professional? Because I have arms.
Yeah.
That's a you problem. Yes. And then she had on these boots, these Balenciaga boots, girl. And them things came up here.
Was that an Oprah interview?
It was a, it was an Oprah interview. It was a chartreuse type situation with the boots. I have those, not the Balenciaga boots. I'm a couple more of these. But I think that watching her gave me a lot of freedom to say, you're still you. If somebody else can't handle it, then that's on them. Yeah. And you deal with that. Like if I chose to wear those boots here, that's on me.
Yes, it is.
It's okay.
It is.
And so I get to be myself more. So I've experienced a lot more freedom in how I dress. Today, I haven't worn something like this. I don't even know the last time. It's years.
What's beautiful.
Thank you. But I have had so much fun with textures, colors, fabrics, boots, all the things, because that's what I really like.
That's you.
And so it is me. But I chose to suppress it. For a while because it was necessary in that season, but as I get older, I refuse to suppress it. So if you get me, you're getting all of me. Yes. The extra professional, or at homecoming, my boots had fur on them, and I had pearls on them too, with some long earrings. So I think that, and then not being mad or not wearing something because I feel like I'm gonna be judged, just loving myself and showing up in a way that represents who I am. I think that brings me joy as well.
So I don't know that I've ever met the inauthentic. So I think that's wonderful. I love the earrings. Always, Lena.
No, these aren't Lena. These are Denise Hinton. I believe it's junks and things. But yeah, I love Lena. Yeah. But I also love a little. This is my, a little pop, a little fun, a little pop of color. I love that. And so I'm glad that you actually talk about that, because you know what? I wouldn't wear braids for a long time. Listen, I love them. And I started doing that closer towards, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago. But I wouldn't do it. I just felt like I needed to have that, polished look. And I don't know that I was being true to myself in a lot of those things. So I'm glad that I was able to free that. Now, I'll go back to Michelle Obama because I love that quote. When I first started with the industry I'm in now, I had a mentor, and she always showed up like she was. Her hair, her makeup, her clothes, she always did. And so I was in the military, and there's a lot of things you don't do in the military. And the first thing was, if I'm wearing a dress, I was wearing stockings, and they was hot. So hot. Say rub again.
Listen.
Disco Inferno Fire.
That was awful. I wore them as a kid. My grandma would have put me in some tights. And then I got the military. If if I wore a skirt, I had to wear them. So when I got to the corporate world and I had these stockings on, and this woman was phenomenal and just professional and carried herself well. And I looked at her and I said, if she has open-toed shoes and those stockings, I am going to wear my heels. And I'm not wearing. My daughter would be so mad every time I put a pair of pantyhose. She's like, girl, what you got them on for? Just no one does that. They don't even sell those anymore. Why you?
You still have the last pair?
Yeah, I must have owned the stockings. So I love that you say that. I love the authenticity. And again, I don't know that I've ever met the other person because I've always seen you as being true.
She had to die.
She had to die. She had to die. And you know what? Yes. Listen, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. All right, I'm going to have one more question. I'm going to open up the floor to you.
Okay.
And so this is more about spiritual and emotional alignment because we've talked about that and we've given God all honor during our conversation. Yes. So I just wanted to make sure that we continue that. So faith and spiritual wellness are being.
Okay, look at that. Okay.
Are being so intertwined. For so many of us, our spiritual walk grounds us through every transition. It has. For me, I've had similar transitions where God has brought me through. And He's actually had me reflect on, didn't I do that?
Come on.
Didn't I? You just look for where you can, what I brought you through and how you didn't think that you were going to be able to go through. So how do you see spirituality playing a role in emotional healing and alignment?
I always say, I'm good, but I'm not that good. Like God has given me gifts, I've gone to school, I've done the things, and I still need something bigger than me. Yes. I still need to understand that I'm not the creator. I still need to understand that there's a humility that has to come with this gift. I still need to understand that there's possibilities beyond what I could think, dream, or imagine when I feel like I'm up against the wall because I'm human. And so I think that spirituality for me has given me hope, and it has given me a way to let go and to release into God's infinite wisdom in all areas, even when I don't like it, I don't understand, or I feel like things are silent. Like you said, the thing of, because God does whisper in different ways. This is another one for me this week. I've been pretty busy in different ways, and every time I feel fed. And so I think that that's God's way of saying you're on the right path. You just got to trust me. I know you can't see, but I made some promises, but you don't get to decide how I play them out. Yeah. As smart as you think you are.
That's right.
Yeah.
The way I do it.
Yeah. And it's not going to be because of your wisdom. It's going to be because of my grace and my mercy, which is sufficient. Yeah. And so I think that surrounding myself with people who can pour in that way, who you can pray with and celebrate with, not just, because I mean, my friend, one of my good friends, she transitioned her whole life and her whole career, and she has been so inspirational to me. She has no idea. But when I have people that call me like, I got a testimony in the morning, like it's Friday, testimony time. Yeah, and having people in your life that know how to celebrate what God is doing, not just to look at the parts that are difficult. And so I think, once again, that getting excited about the possibilities can help you make it through those hard times while dealing with the reality that sometimes it's difficult. It is. Sometimes it's challenging. But God has been good to me by always sending somebody, an angel in disguise, to say something. It could be a stranger. And I know that for a lot of people, it's difficult maybe to accept, but God's light does shine in people in different ways. And so I think that's kind of God to be able to say, you might not know, I know that I'm infinite, all-knowing, and sometimes I feel unreachable, but here you go.
Love that. I do. People need to hear that, right?
Yeah, it doesn't come in this sometimes it comes in a clap, a loud boom, and other times it comes in a quiet whisper from somebody who's like, thank you. Yeah. And you're like, thank you for what? Just the fact that you just said, some of the things that you've changed. Imagine the other person who's feeling more of themselves because you were yourself. But you trusted God in that, though, that I'm not going to seem unprofessional or be less respected if I wear pantyhose. And that might seem small to somebody, but that was embedded. That was something you are not. And you're a hot girl, literally, not like a hot girl, like flaming hot.
I am now.
Right. But at that time, you got to take responsibility for somebody else's inability to control themselves.
That's right. And then you have to think about that.
Yeah. And letting go of that. Yeah. Letting go of it all. You think they're not professional? I don't care. I'm sitting here. You think they are professional? Fantastic. Yeah. But that's not why we're here today.
That's not it.
We're not talking about stockings. And so letting go, just trusting God that He created you this way, you are always seeking alignment to stay or get back to where he created you to be.
Sure.
I think that's really important too, because we're human, we're not perfect, and we should not try to be perfect. Our actions can be made perfect through him, but we're going to do some things that offend somebody. We're not always the victim. Sometimes we create pain.
Yes.
Sometimes we cause hurt and sorrow, and in order not to stay stuck in shame, then that's where spirituality comes in for me as well. Like, if God can forgive me, who am I not to forgive myself? Even if I don't get to fix that. Even if I never get to repair it. Even if this person thinks of me from that one incident, they get to.
Yeah, it's your choice.
They get to do that, but I don't have to stay stuck in it. And I could look at somebody and be like, you know what, you were right, but I'm no longer that person. And it's okay if you don't give me an opportunity to fit. You don't have to, but I'm okay now because I didn't want to be that. I know that it's wrong, so I can move on.
Oh, I love that. You know that because, I feel a sense of apologizing. I was in the grocery store probably like a month ago, and I was mean to this lady probably like 10 years ago. And it was just being, and I apologized and said, you probably don't even remember this, but I'm compelled to tell. And I hadn't seen her though, but she says, well, thank you. And she had no idea.
No clue.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I stick with people.
And every time I saw the lady, I was like, I need to talk to her.
Well, because that was your conviction and your growth. And
it wasn't.
Honestly, it wasn't negative. You're just not that person anymore.
Yeah.
And so being able to let go of, dang, that wasn't right. And now I'm convicted to know that, and I no longer show up like that. That's a release as well, even if you never got to apologize. Because most of the time, people are so busy with their own stuff, they're not even thinking about this most of the time. And if they are, God is sending us other people who've been able to show up in better ways for. So I think being able to, just that relationship of trusting God, of being open, of being a vessel, and also taking responsibility to just be yourself within who he created you to be. I do a lot of walking around, and I was just like, I was reminding myself in my pivotal season of transition, I am who you said that I was. Yeah. I am who you created me to be. I remember that. So any circumstance, good or bad, doesn't define who you said that I am.
Who he says.
So that's my realigning, so that you don't get too high, because God does what? Knock that thing down. Right. You don't get too low, so that you can't miss the blessing. I don't believe you can miss the blessing. That's on me. But so that you're ready for the blessing, to meet the blessing.
I love it. I love it. So, this conversation to me has been such a blessing, and I know many of my listeners today will get so much from this, right? So before we close, how can listeners stay connected to you and learn more about your incredible work through the Emotional Wellbeing Coaching Academy or the Death of a Life framework?
Thank you. I am on LinkedIn. I'm on all platforms of LinkedIn. My name is spelled out there at the bottom. And so you can see me on LinkedIn. You can see me on Instagram. I'm on TikTok doing a little bit of dancing when I work out, which I enjoy. And my website, because I do certify people to become emotional well-being coaches. That's also going to be in the comments as well, EWCA Coach. And just follow me. Keep me lifted up. Add some comments if you see something that you like. Show me how you relate, because just as much as I'm blessed to feed, I'm definitely grateful for people who give back to me as well.
I love it. So thank you again. And I am so grateful and so proud just watching you. So you have been a blessing to me. So I just want to take this time to say thank you for coming in today. Y'all continue to watch what DeeDee's doing. What's DeeDee doing now? Getting fit at 50 and having fit conversations with DeeDee and wonderful folks like Miss. Are you doctor?
I am not.
Okay.
I'm coach.
Okay, coach.
Coach Philithia.
I love it. I love it. And so continue to watch. Thank you again. Please catch all of our podcasts. What's DeeDee doing now? Y'all know, getting fit at 50.